Greetings, dear viewers. Welcome back to the Meghan and Harry Tales channel, where we keep you updated on all things royal. I'm your host, Kelly. Tonight, we delve into a sentiment that's been quietly simmering in the hearts of many. Britain misses Prince Harry, the charismatic Duke of Sussex, whose departure to the United States left a palpable void in the royal landscape and in our hearts. We find ourselves yearning for his unique blend of charm, candour and charisma that once brightened the royal fold. Prince Harry, the relatable royal, with a charisma that made him approachable and endearing. His infectious energy was a breath of fresh air amid the traditional formalities of the monarchy. Whether during royal tours, charity work or casual appearances, Harry had this innate ability to connect with people, making us feel like he was just another one of us, despite his royal lineage. And let's not overlook his candidness. In a world where discretion is often the name of the game, Harry dared to be different. He spoke openly about mental health, his personal struggles, and the pressures of royal life. His candidness was not just refreshing, it was groundbreaking, prompting us all to reflect on our own experiences and battles. Beyond his charisma and candour, Harry championed causes that resonated with many of us. From his military service to the founding of the Invictus Games, his commitment to veterans, mental health awareness and conservation efforts in Africa showcased a deep sense of duty, not only to his country, but to humanity at large. Yes, Harry chose to leave, but his decision was about more than escaping royal duties. It was about protecting his family, safeguarding his mental health and preserving his dignity. We may not agree with all his actions or words since, but we must acknowledge that they were rooted in a very human desire for freedom and happiness. So, should Britain admit that we miss Prince Harry? Absolutely. His absence has made the monarchy feel a bit less relatable, a bit less charismatic, and a bit less human. Perhaps it's time we recognise behind the regal titles and crowns we simply miss Harry, the man, not just the prince. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the charisma, candour and causes that made Prince Harry a beloved figure. First, we examine the unique charisma of Prince Harry. From his earliest days in the public eye, Harry distinguished himself with a charm that was all his own. He had this knack for making people feel at ease, a rare quality that set him apart from his royal counterparts. His was a charisma that was both effortless and endearing, a trait that endeared him to people from all walks of life. In the often stiff and formal world of the monarchy, Harry was delightfully different. He was the prince with the cheeky smile, the one who could make a crowd laugh, the one who was just as comfortable chatting with a child as he was with a world leader. His approachability was not a finely tuned act, but a genuine reflection of his sunny disposition. It was this authenticity that made him relatable, that made him real. Remember the days when Harry would step out for public engagements? There was an energy that accompanied him, a buzz that was palpable. He didn't just walk into a room, he filled it with his presence. He had this ability to connect with people, to make them feel seen and heard. This was no ordinary prince, this was Harry, the people's prince. But Harry's charisma wasn't just about his affable nature, it was also about his passion. When he spoke about causes close to his heart, his eyes lit up, his words carried weight. His charisma was rooted in his belief in a better world and his determination to play a role in shaping it. Yes, Harry was born into royalty, but it was his charisma that made him a prince in the truest sense. His charisma broke down barriers, bridged gaps, and brought a sense of warmth and humanity to the royal family. Indeed, Prince Harry's charisma was a breath of fresh air in the royal family. And so, as we reflect on the charisma of Prince Harry, we are reminded of a man who was not just a prince, but a charismatic force that left an indelible mark on the hearts of many. His absence is felt, and his charisma dearly missed. Now, let's turn our attention to Prince Harry's candidness. In the grand tapestry of the royal family, Harry's openness was a thread of vibrant colour, breaking the monotone of discretion and formality. His candidness was not about breaking the rules, it was about rewriting them. Prince Harry's willingness to discuss mental health in particular was a breath of fresh air. He openly shared his struggles with grief after the loss of his mother, Princess Diana, and the toll it took on his mental health. This was a brave move considering the stigma that often surrounds mental health issues. Harry didn't just talk about his own experiences, He advocated for mental health awareness, breaking down barriers and opening up conversations that many people were too afraid to have. Harry also spoke candidly about the pressures of royalty. Being born a prince might seem like a fairy tale, but Harry showed us that it's not always a happily ever after. The scrutiny, the expectations, the relentless media attention, it can be overwhelming. Harry didn't shy away from these truths. He laid them bare for all to see, giving us a glimpse into the reality of royal life. But Prince Harry's candidness went beyond his personal experiences. He was frank about the need for change, not just within the royal institution, but in society as a whole. He used his platform to address issues like racial inequality, climate change, and the importance of community. His honesty resonated with the public, transforming him from a distant royal figure into a relatable human being. Prince Harry's openness allowed us to view him not just as a royal figure, but as a human being sharing his vulnerabilities. His candidness was a beacon of authenticity in a world often shrouded in pretense. It was a testament to his belief in the power of honesty, transparency, and vulnerability. And for that, we miss him. We miss his courage, his honesty, and most of all, we miss his voice. A voice that dared to challenge the status quo, and in doing so, gave us all the courage to do the same. Let's not forget the causes Prince Harry championed. His dedication to service didn't stop at his royal duties. Harry showed us that his heart was bigger than his title, and that his sense of duty extended far beyond the palace walls. First, there's his time in the military. Harry served in the British Army for 10 years, rising to the rank of captain and undertaking 2 tours of Afghanistan. This wasn't just a prince playing soldier, this was a man putting his life on the line, just like any other service member. His experiences in the military deeply influenced his perspectives and fueled his passion for supporting veterans. That passion led to the creation of the Invictus Games, an international sporting event for wounded, injured and sick servicemen and women. Harry didn't just slap his name on the project and call it a day. He was involved in every step, from the planning to the execution, demonstrating his commitment to honouring and empowering veterans. But Harry's advocacy didn't stop with the military. He also championed mental health awareness, drawing from his own experiences to break down stigmas and start conversations. Alongside his brother and sister-in-law, he launched the Heads Together campaign, aiming to change the national conversation on mental health. He also co-founded the mental health services company Better Up and became its chief impact officer. And let's not forget his dedication to African conservation efforts. Harry spent many years working on projects in Africa, particularly focusing on the protection of endangered species. He co-founded the charity Centrebale to support children and young people affected by HIV in Lesotho and Botswana. These are just a few of the causes Harry championed, and each one shows his deep sense of duty, not just to his country, but to humanity as a whole. These efforts resonated with so many of us because they showed a man who was willing to lead with both heart and action. In a time where we are constantly seeking role models, Harry embodied those qualities. Now, let's discuss the departure of Prince Harry. It's a topic that's been dissected and debated from every angle, yet it remains a poignant chapter in the royal narrative. The Duke of Sussex, known for his charisma, candidness, and commitment to causes close to his heart, took the world by surprise when he announced his decision to step back from royal duties. His departure wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision, but a carefully considered move made in the interest of his family, his mental health, and his dignity. He chose to protect what was dear to him, even if it meant walking away from the royal life he had known all his life. Harry's decision to step back wasn't an act of rebellion, as some may believe, but an assertion of his human desire for freedom and happiness. He chose to prioritise the well-being of his wife and son, to create a life where they could thrive away from the constant scrutiny and pressure that comes with being a royal. His departure was a stark reminder that behind the royal titles, the grandeur and the fanfare, Harry is, first and foremost, a man who yearned for a life where he could be a good husband, a doting father, and an individual who could use his influence to make a positive impact in the world without the constraints of royal protocol. His decision to step back was also an act of courage. It took strength to break away from what was familiar and comfortable, to face the criticism and backlash, and to start anew in a foreign land. It was a testament to Harry's character, his determination to stand up for what he believes in, and his resilience in the face of adversity. But despite his departure, his legacy in Britain remains. His charisma, his candidness, and his commitment to championing causes still resonate with many of us. His absence has left a void that's hard to fill, reminding us of the unique charm and warmth he brought to the royal family. Perhaps it's time we acknowledge that behind the titles and controversy, we simply miss Harry, the man, not just the prince. So, should Britain admit that we miss Prince Harry? Absolutely. Let's take a moment to reflect on why. Prince Harry brought a level of charisma to the royal family that was truly unique. His approachable nature, relatable personality, and cheeky wit made him a breath of fresh air in an institution known for its formality and tradition. He made us feel like he was one of us, and his presence was a vibrant addition to the royal family. His candidness was another defining trait. Harry was never afraid to speak his mind, even on sensitive topics such as mental health and the pressures of royal life. His openness was a revelation, making us realize that even royals are human, with their own struggles and vulnerabilities. It was a refreshing change in a monarchy often seen as detached and untouchable. We must also remember the causes he championed. Harry's dedication to veterans, mental health awareness, and African conservation efforts showed a deep sense of duty that went beyond his royal obligations. He was a role model who led with both heart and action, resonating with many of us. However, his departure from the royal family, while difficult, was a decision rooted in his desire to protect his family, his mental health, and his dignity. His actions since leaving have been controversial, but they were driven by a very human desire for freedom and happiness. His absence has left the royal family feeling less relatable, less charismatic, and less human. It's clear that Harry wasn't just a prince, he was a symbol of modernity in an ancient institution. His departure has left a void that is hard to fill. We miss Harry, the man, not just the prince. So Britain, it's time to admit it. We miss Prince Harry, not for his title or his royal obligations, but for the charismatic, candid, and compassionate person he is. Thank you for joining us in this discussion. Remember to subscribe, share, and leave a comment. This is your loyal host, Kelly, signing off.